Assalamu alaikum. I would like to first apologize for any technical glitches. So thank you so much for your patience, and we will begin the program. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to begin in the name of Allah, the Magnificent, the Merciful. I would like to first apologize. My dear respected audience, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Subhanallah, the weather has been wonderful, and I hope it's wonderful everywhere where you all are joining from. Thank you all for joining this afternoon. My name is Sajida, and I'm part of the LL team, and it is an honor to be your host today. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, Lantern of Light is a humble initiative that provides a safe space for our sisters who are striving in their soul journeys. So far, we have been able to facilitate many amazing online webinars and workshops with renowned guest esteemed scholars and individuals who are professionals in various capacities. If you wish to support this humble cause, please feel free to contact us. In order for us to grow, please like, share, and follow us on our social media platforms, which are listed below in the description. Without further ado, we would like to start the program with the holy recitation of the Quran by our world-renowned reciter and a Qari brother, Sibtain Ghulam.
محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما.
Alhamdulillah, that was a beautiful recitation of the Quran by our brother. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining. Our speaker for today is Dr. Mubarak Nawaz, and she has spoken for us in the past, alhamdulillah, and inshallah, many more in the future. As we are commemorating our beloved sixth Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam's wafat, I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to all of you, and especially to the Imam of our time, Imam Mehdi Sahib al-Zaman. Before we start the seminar, let us listen to a Latmiyya in English by Brother Sibtain Ghulam, who will grace us with the somber occasion, and then we will join with Dr. Mubarak on our main topic this afternoon, and inshallah, we will have a question and answer after her delivery of her presentation. Please feel free to write your questions in the chat box.
اللهم صل على محمد محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك الأمان يوم لا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. Who is this tangled in chains on this burning desert plain, looking to the body slain? This is the sister of Hussain, youth of Bani Hashim's queen, who the moon had never seen. She defines what patience means. This is Zainab Hazin. Why have you been left stranded here? Why are your eyes filled with tears? Why? Tell me, Zainab, where's your Akbar and your Qasim? Where's the moon of Bani Hashim? Where is your Hussain? Ya Zainab ya Zainab أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. You saw your brother's demise right in front of your own eyes. You saw shimmer agonize. You heard young Sakina's cries. You saw heads upon the spears. You heard the tormenting cheers. For you moments felt like years. You were strong and faced your fears. You broke the back of the tyrant. In front of you he was silent. You're a warrior. When the few words you had spoken, the idols of Sham were broken. You're victorious. Ya Zainab ya Zainab أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. يا زينب يا زينب أرواحنا لك الفداء. Zainab, daughter of Ali, your strength and your bravery, even after tragedy, nothing but beauty you see. But the test was greater. You were called a traitor in a crowd of haters by the West dictator. That must have hurt you, Zainab. No, we're left to turn to Zainab. Oh, the helpless Listen, oh you who oppress, do you think you can suppress the ones whom Allah has blessed, causing chaos and distress? You who have hearts that are stone, you think that Zainab's alone, her protectors overthrown, no one left to call her own.
I just have to make sure it's time for
We'll give our life
to tell her when it's 30 minutes are up, so she knows she has to wrap up.
her protectors. We know of your biggest fear that Mahdi will reappear, and that time is near.
A very warm welcome to all of us on this platform. It's indeed a delight to address this elite group on the day, on such an auspicious day, on a day that we would commemorate and we would like to reconnect with each other and commemorate together. However, the topic for the day is emotional wellness. So I'm sure you're all braced up to understand what emotional wellness is and how we're going to deal with it, given in these current times. So I'm Mubarak Nawaz, a clinical psychologist, um, transformationalist. I am a trained workshop leader and a coach, life coach, heal your life coach, and also a law of attraction trainer, workshop leader. I conduct these workshops in quantum science and quantum physics, which are earlier I used to teach counseling psychology in a lot of in 3 colleges to be precise, and I was an in-house counselor for 3 different hospitals. This is a journey that I'm talking about since the past 21 years. So this has been my passion all through. And now I have digressed. I would not call it digress, I've expanded into the quantum science and into the world of quantum science when I understand the mind over matter, the spiritual component in the being. So earlier it was all about the logistics and the left brain, and now it is the whole brain that is that I honor, I respect, I understand, and I propagate. It is something that is very close to my heart, and I would love all of you to get a taste of it, a bite of it, and relish it just the way I enjoyed sharing it with you and my experience with it. This today we're talking in the context of the global unrest that is witnessed since the past March. In fact, I would say since December 2019. So let me start with sharing the screen. But before I do that, what I would like you all to see, my workshops, my seminars are all experiential in nature, and they're interactive. So to keep the interaction alive, what I would suggest is you use the chat box, and Sajida will keep updating me on what comes up as it comes up, so that you are there and you're getting yourself update, you're getting your clarities as we go on. The second thing that I would like you to do is keep a paper and pen handy so that you can jot down what you will realize are treasures and nuggets which you would like to go through later on. And when you end this work with this session, what you're going to experience is definitely going to be a shift in your emotional spectrum, the emotional wellness spectrum, and you'll be able to replicate this not only for yourself but for your loved ones once you know what actually manifested as the shift. So as I share the screen, you can go quickly and pick up your pen and paper. Okay, just give me a minute. I think we shared the PPT. Are you all able to view the PPT? I would like to see a thumbs up so that I'm aware that we are all on the same page. Can you see the PPT? Can you see the screen sharing? Sister Nasim, Sister Sajida.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So emotional wellness, and then we're going to also add a very important aspect, again relevant to this. Okay, I have done a master's in nutrition. That is part of my journey, and because of which I am qualified as a herbalist and a nutritionist as well. So this is going to add the aspect of your strengthening your immune system in this pandemic. So here, when I ask you how are you feeling, when emotional wellness is all about how you feel now. So if I ask you how you're feeling, you will be able to experience it as an emotion, as a shift in how your energy. You'll be able to tell me you're feeling good, happy, wonderful, not so good, not really up to it today. But what actually gives you this one label? How do you evaluate it? So there are a couple of things that go together and allow you to understand this. So there are certain mental aspects and physical aspects that are going to be taken into the equation. They're going to be factored in when you tell me that you're feeling a particular level on the emotional wellness scale. So these are a few of them in front of you on the screen, and that is your emotional stress, your tolerance to your threshold tolerance, your level to tolerate things around you, anxiety, the amount of anxiety you feel, the resilience, the way you bounce back from whatever challenges you are physically, emotionally, both, as well as the way your digestive system functions. If there's any disorder, you would not feel so up to it. Any disturbance in sleep will also factor in, and your energy levels and your immune system. These are all actually going into that one word that you say, how you describe your emotional wellness. Now, when we all witnessed what we are all experiencing now in 2009, from 2019 December, which then became worldwide in March 2020, what we have observed is in the first 1 year, 12 months from March 2020 to March 21, the entire global emotional wellness dropped by a whooping 74%. And this is a verified data that we have in front of us. What is it? We're all wondering, what actually is it that has manifested in the human beings that has dropped the emotional wellness by 74%. It's a huge fall. So a lot of introspection has gone into this, and what actually impacts your emotional wellness or our emotional wellness is one major factor. There are multiple, but one major thing which very easily encompasses a lot of other factors is, anyone wants to guess? Okay, so we do not have the time to play these games, but I can't resist. That's mine. Okay, so here we have it on the screen. So change, yes, but change is universal. Change is the basis of life. Then why this change is causing this traumatic outcome? And so on a lot of introspection, a lot of research has gone into this aspect of the emotional wellness, drop in emotional wellness. So what has actually happened? Change is universal, like I told you. We've been changing right from the time we've been conceived. So human beings, the fundamental, the fundamentals of the basis of life is change. It's absolutely fundamental to life. So then why this huge disturbance, disarray, is because we change is a given, but we haven't recalibrated to the external environmental change, the expectation, the way things are happening externally as well as internally. Let me give you a simple example. When whichever, irrespective of whichever phone you have, irrespective of the operating system, be it your Android or your iPhone, you have the lollipops and marshmallows and the leopards and all of those. So when periodically, every month or 2 months, you get a message saying new version, update your phone. So the operating system, there is an update in the current version and you need to recalibrate your phone. So some wise people update it, some more wise people choose not to. So the ones that do not update themselves are what happens to their phone. So what happens to their phone is it starts functioning at a it's the quality of function drops. It hangs. It doesn't function optimally. It doesn't do what it used to do with ease. It starts getting slow. There are lots of things that keep happening. It is not giving you its best. It cannot function at its optimum. And so then what do? What is prescribed? The prescription is that you install the new version. When the installation is happening, the phone is not, you cannot use it. You cannot access it. It's inaccessible. So you let it recalibrate, then you switch off, and then you switch on. And wow, things are fine, they're great. And then you're ready to take it forward. The phone is perfect. It's working faster. The fonts are better, and there are additional features which really make things wonderful. So what was the hitch here? What was the glitch here? The only glitch was you did not recalibrate, you did not update. Now, when you're changing from toddlerhood to, even in the humans, when we change, what we do is we're ready for the next stage, be it something happy or unhappy, something that, and there's nothing unhappy. I would want to take these for whatever the change is. So materialistically, we would evaluate it as unpleasant at that moment, but at the same time, we are ready for it. This took us by surprise. We didn't expect all of this, and that's the reason why we were taken back. Now, what happened because of this not recalibrating? Not recalibrating is that all of this happened. So okay, just a moment. There's someone who needs to be admitted. Okay, so what are the options that we have now? Now that we know, there are only two options that we have, just like the serenity prayer goes. So the first option is we continue the way it is. Oh, yeah. So, okay. We continue the way it is and let life happen. When I say let life happen, is we're on autopilot. We let the stress go on. We let the challenges go on. We allow our body to give up. We allow our body to be stressed, to be underperforming, and not to make any changes. The second option is take charge. So when I say take charge, what I mean is now you sit on the steering wheel of your life and say, now is I am going to be the master of my life. The way my life is experienced by me is going to be decided by only me. obviously the Almighty is the one who's giving you the wisdom to take such a decision. So it's not about me only. It is never only about me. So I would not be emphasizing it, but I'm sure the sisters outside on the other side do understand what I mean to say. So now from the vicious cycle of victimhood, we go into the vicious cycle of victorhood, or the consciousness of victorhood. How do we do it is what this entire session is about. So like the prayer of serenity goes. So I'm sure Sister Nasim is going to tell me, couldn't you use a prayer that is in our text and our scriptures? So I apologize before she comes up with that, but I remember the serenity prayer which just came to my mind now. So what does the serenity prayer say is, dear Lord, grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, and the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, Sister Nasim, apologies. Okay, so here what do I do is what this entire session is about. Here I would like to digress a little, and then I'm going to join these dots very soon. So be with me, just like you were there till now. I want to take you to another domain, and that is your mind. The reason why I'm taking you here is once you understand the incredible, the wonderful, the unlimited power that the mind has. The mind is this energy that we have within us, the root the root that we call. So this can supersede and overwrite anything that matter has declared or determined or destined. So it can go beyond. It's what we call miracles very often. So when we have it in our mind, when we can conceive it in our mind, when we can believe it, we can have it in our hands. We can hold it in our hands. So mind over matter is where I'm taking you to, just for a few minutes, and then I will join the dots and tell you why this is. And this is especially for the left brainers. I was one of them, a very left brain person, but I needed logic to understand this concept, which is more faith oriented, more belief oriented. So when I talk about mind over matter, the most important topic that would establish this emphasis of mind over matter is the placebo. This is well researched, and there are no two ways about it. So if I was speaking a couple of decades earlier, I would have to actually prove it to you by multiple sources. But here now we have sufficient data, more than sufficient data, and ourselves will testify for it. Very often, there is going to be actually nothing that I'm going to tell you today that you don't know. So very often we feel that this is something new. But if you observe, there is an ease in receiving. So when someone's talking, when someone's speaking something, you will nod your head in affirmation. Very often when someone's speaking, you would frown, or you would look up in wonder. That's a question. Or you would nod your head sideways saying, I do not agree. So when I say something and you are in agreement, or it's easy for you, you already have data that confirms it from your soul level. So I'm going to quickly just give you a few examples, and if you want details and data, actual data, I would be more than happy to share it with you. So I have a lot of data, but then it gets too data oriented, and that's the reason why I'm going to just run through this, or just quickly I'm going to breeze through this. So check what is placebo is. When you give a sugar pill to someone, you yourself take a sugar pill, and you're informed by someone who you completely trust in that this is the actual medication that is going to relieve you of whatever challenges you're facing, physical challenges that you're facing. It will be a headache, a migraine, a nausea, whatever it is. So you given this this capsule, and you're told by someone you trust and you believe it, and you take the medication, you will observe that that medication works. Later, you could find out that, oh, this was not meant to be. This was just a sugar pill, and that would surprise you. You go to the doctor, you sit in the waiting room, and you feel that the challenges that you were facing before you came here have simply disappeared. Now, this is what placebo is: belief. This is the relief that you get from the strength of your belief. So this was what healed you from inside, is your belief. And in these times, we need to understand the biggest agent which is going to manifest you, get you back into your best functioning. So that is your mind. Now we have a lot of experiments, which one experiment that I would like to share, which I would like you all to go and check once. Okay, so I would like you all to check once, is the Dr. Henry Beecher. So I'm sharing the name with you. You can go and I would love for you to go and, so that will establish and your belief to that, it will take it to the next level where you will understand the mind over matter concept. So here were two pills given. I'll quickly run you through a blue and a red pill. And this was Dr. Henry Beecher was an anesthesiologist, and he had a couple of experiences in the, he was an army doctor. He had a couple of experiences in the army camp, hospitals camp, where he discovered the mind over matter concept, and it was his experience. He had witnessed it. So he wanted to try it in Harvard University after the war, and he had this experiment with 100 Harvard students. So what happened is, he gave 2 students, told them the red pill is something that is going to make you, is going to activate you, energize you, and the blue one is a sedative, tranquilizing, is a sedator and a tranquilizer. So the right one was meant, the red one was an upper, something that makes you feel up and about, something that over energizes you and activates you. The students took it and their body responded in the same way, but the trick was, or the secret was, and why am I telling you this, is because the chemicals were changed. So when the chemicals were changed, the blue one actually was not a tranquilizer. It was an upper emotional and an energizer, an activator, an antidepressant, a mood elevator. And the red one was a tranquilizer. So the body responded to what message it got, and not what the chemical was. Now, this is a very important experiment, and this will put things into the perspective. This is one person again you could look for. He's Dr. He's not doctor, he's Norman Cousins, and Norman Cousins has written over 17 books. He's an author, politician. He was an author, he was a politician, and he was an editor, and he had a lot more titles to his name. But what was very interesting here and relevant to our topic is that he cured himself of an incurable disease, and that incurable disease was, he had cellulose disorder, which was declared to be something that you cannot recover from. Only 1 in 500 patients have recovered in the past, and that is also just partially. But the doctors who he was seeing said they have never witnessed, never seen, never heard of any case that of recovery. This man had no other way, but he understood that it was stress that put him to where he was, and it is stress that is, if stress could take him there, stress could take him backwards as well. So de-stressing himself would make him well. If stress could make him ill, de-stressing himself. So he laughed himself to health. In 1 year, where the doctors had declared that you have only 2 months to live, you can start doing whatever you want to do as you bid yourself goodbye from this world. But he lived for 26 years after that. He had a bout of cancer, which he again cured by his positive thinking. So this is all compiled in his book, which was a New York Times bestseller for 40 weeks. And there's also a movie. So I don't know if the movies come up because and his story is also, and after this, there was a new branch of science that actually emerged, that was called the psychoneuroimmunology. So the effect of the mind and on the brain, on the immune system. So how these were linked and fused, and then came up with this new branch of science came up, which actually added a lot. I will not go into, which actually made a lot of sense. Now, these are few You could take a picture of the screen, print screen this, and do your own research to understand this better, because then this is going to take a lot. It's going to eat on a lot of information that I have planned to share with you. So these are a lot of data that will help you understand the power of the energy of the words and the way the things that we do, how they impact matter. So how the mind has an effect on matter. If we have the time, I'll share this with you. Now coming back to, now we'll join the dots back to our topic, and the topic was emotional wellness in these times of the pandemic or corona or COVID-19. So what is it that is of prime importance to us now? What is of prime importance is strengthening your immune system. And what are the factors that impact the immune system? Major factor is stress. So I have already covered this. And one more thing that Norman Cousins did, see, that was one thing that I didn't share. He laughed himself to health. So he sat in the hospital and he used to belly laugh. He was taking 25 aspirins a day. And what happened was, he knew the side effects of aspirins. He used to feel like there were ants crawling all over his, red ants crawling all over his body, and he had itchy and lymph nodes and all of that. He knew that they had a lot of side effects. So when he decided to de-stress himself, like I told you, what did he do to de-stress himself was watch Marx Brothers comedies episodes. And he used to laugh himself. When he used to belly laugh for 15 minutes, what he observed is he did not need a painkiller for 2 hours. That was what helped him understand that this is my key to health. And he did just that, along with flushing himself with exorbitant doses of vitamin C. But that is a part of the book, and you can read it. But the reason why I wanted to get you back here was because I wanted to emphasize on how you can work on your immune system by using the power of your mind, and by changing the way you are experiencing life externally as well as internally. So this is how important your mind is, and how you, now the thoughts are very automatic. Thoughts come, you do not invite them. You do not want to think negative thoughts, you do not want to think stressful thoughts, you do not want to think, but these thoughts are there. So how do we deal with these negative thoughts? I cannot share the entire program with you, I cannot, but what I can do is, in this short session that we have, is give you two tricks or two quick ways to fix the way you think, to understand this overthinking that you have. So one is, there are neural pathways. There are these thought patterns that we have created. So one thought will lead to another, will lead to another, will lead to another. So one thought of stress, everyone would have a different neural pathway for that one experience. So if I have shared whatever I shared of Normal Cousins, everyone's understood it in their own unique special way. I was one speaker who spoke one thing, but if I ask everyone to share something like Chinese, everyone has understood it in their own way. So how will we change that? So first you need to identify, are you someone who has a neural pathway which needs to probably be addressed, or you need to have a closer look at it. So if it is so, then there are two ways that you can deal with it. And the two ways are, one, when you're having a negative thought, when you're having a thought which you would not like to entertain, you need to be aware of it and jot it down. Be aware of that thought, that this is the first thought that triggered this chain. Then what you can do is think a parallel thought, the same thought, how else can I think with this? Be creative. And then keep thinking this new chain of thoughts. Again, in between the chain, you might go back to the old pattern. So when you create new neural pathways, One pathway, the old pathway is very well established. You walked on it so long that now that it comes by default. That's your autopilot way mode of thinking. You need to make a parallel new chain of thoughts. So what do? Is you create this first consciously. So you create this consciously in your mind. Keep doing this. We are injecting these thoughts, remember. So we are doing it on purpose, new thought chains of thought, and keep thinking it so often that this road which you haven't traversed earlier is then going to slowly become a pathway, then a pakka pathway, one car can go, then it becomes a state highway, then a national highway, and then an international highway. So this is one way that you can this is one way that you can create a parallel pathway which is definitely empowering. What will happen gradually is, by consciously adding this old pathway is going to get redundant. It will be coming back, and you don't need to criticize. You will never criticize, condemn, or judge your old system of thought. You're going to just be aware of it. The moment you criticize it, the moment you compare, the moment you are judging it, what is going to happen is you're going to energize it. Where attention goes, energy goes, and results show. So where your focus goes, where your attention goes, energy flows and results show. So if I'm going to say, no, why am I thinking like this? You're energizing it. That thought, every thought has a time span of only 90 seconds. Be it a thought of anger, hurt, pain, frustration, whatever it is. It has a lifespan of only 90 seconds. If you allow it to run its life and let it be without adding additional thoughts, what you are going to do is not energize it. And this comes only with practice and repetition. So those 90 seconds, if you're able to allow the thought, let me give you another example, and that will put things into perspective. That's going to make it much more, it's going to get it into your psyche. When anyone has a fracture, for that matter, what happens? The medical protocol is to plaster it, right? So the usual protocol is a fracture, a normal fracture, not something major. So you just plaster it. The doctor says, come to me after 4 to 5 weeks, and we will probably take an X-ray and relieve you of the plaster. Does the plaster heal your fracture? Does the plaster fuse the bones? No. What fuses the bones? It is your body that fuses the bones. The body that has the potential to fuse bones can heal anything and everything. But what was mandatory? So then the body is done healing your bones. Why on earth do I need that heavy loaded plaster on that part that was fractured? Because it can only work when you allow it to rest. Similarly, your immune system will not work if you do not allow your mind, your brain to rest. Your digestive system will also be compromised. Your hormonal system will also be compromised when you are under an attack of stress. So the plaster, what is the plaster in the mind? Is when you do not entertain thoughts that are destructive. I do not love to use such words like destruction, because again I am labeling it, which I've asked you not to do. But what I mean is thoughts that are not going to elevate you. So thoughts that are not allowing you to progress, not allowing you to be progressive in nature. So when you see these thoughts coming up, what you need to do is, okay, I am experiencing these thoughts. Be there with the thought. And then if you are there with the thought and you tag the thought, this is part of my mindfulness. When you tag the thought, you will observe that these type of thoughts, they die their life. The life of these thoughts is only attention. The moment you give it attention, they get energized. Attention in the way of not wanting these thoughts. And so I was giving you two powerful ways to deal with them. One was create a parallel pathway. Second, very important and potent way of dealing with these sort of stress that are going to compromise your immune system is visualize. So there is a lot of data on the power of visualization. So quickly what I'll tell you is what is visualizations is imagining, visualizing in with the five senses what you want to create. So you want to create a happy you. So keep seeing you, not today, but in the moment, in the next moment, as a happy you, doing things what you want to do, feeling good about it. Could be just swinging, it could be just doing things that make you feel happy. It could be anything. For me, it is swinging. So I love swinging. So I'm always visualizing myself swinging in different types of swings from the trees and from different places. So for you, it can be something else. So find what really makes you tick, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel great, just being, not necessarily doing, but just being. You'll have your own. It could be drawing, it could be painting, it could be anything. It could be recitation of Quran for that matter. Whatever it is, there is something unique that ticks you, that makes you alive, and that is what you have to find, and you have to keep visualizing. Just like the bulb was invented, first there was no bulb, there was no aeroplane, there was no India. So there was no, so it was all in the minds of people. So what did I mean by that is Thomas Alva Edison had this in his head. When he kept thinking about it, irrespective of what people shared about it, it became he did not stop till it became a reality. Similarly, the Wright brothers, so they had the concept of the aeroplane, which worked against gravity in their head. People had condemned them for that. Abraham Bell, he was partially there, but he had this vision of being able to transfer sound, but it was in his head. This is the power of visualization. If it is there in your head, you can create it. If you can conceive it, if you can believe it, if you can believe it is the key here. If you can conceive it, if you can believe it, then you can achieve it. There is nothing that can stop you. Now, these are two powerful techniques that I've given you, how you will override and deal with the stress that is going to empower you. Okay, so now what, okay, I don't know if we are on time. So, Sister Sajida, Sister Nasim. Yes, okay, great. So yes, these are, so when you have thoughts that, any questions here, quickly put it down. So these toxic thoughts, these ungodly thoughts, Sister Nasim would like to use ungodly thoughts, and I would love to use them. So yes, definitely, these are the thoughts that are the ones that are going to compromise our immune system. So here, this was a small game that I wanted you all to play, so that it would drive the point home, where here we can, if you all look at this picture, what do you all see? Can you see a pretty girl? Can you see anything else? Can you see an old man? Can you see an old lady? So let me help you with this quickly, so that we don't spend a lot of time on it. At the same time, we don't lose it. So this is one nose, this is the second nose, and this is the third nose. So you can write in the chat box if you can see all the three faces. So if you can see the three faces, good for you. Okay, we are half an hour up. We have 15 minutes to go. Cool. So what is this picture trying to tell you is there are different ways we can perceive, experience a particular situation. So whatever the situation is, there are different ways to look at it. We would like to look at it from the position of empowerment. So this was about the news and how you can see the news. So am I telling you to be now you're standing here, and am I asking you to be optimistic and look at things only as a rosy picture? No, I'm not. Titanic sank because of over optimism. Am I asking you to be a pessimist? Obviously not. So what am I asking you to be is a realist. So what is a realist is aware of what is happening. So I will run through this quickly. I will take it back from here. Okay. So how do we recalibrate ourselves now? This is what I would like you all to focus on. So I would like this new belief to be now installed in your psyche, in your energy. And what are the new beliefs are? It's all about my immunity. So irrespective, when you look around, now we're joining the dots back. So when you look around, we see there are young people, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen who are being, who are giving up to COVID. There is a lot of distress, there's a lot of loss, human loss in this. But on the other hand, there are equally enough data that tells us there are so many people who are living with these people but were not even infected. They did not catch the infection. But that is extremely surprising. So what was there that did not allow these people to get infected despite the fact that they were with the people who were infected? There are so many people who have been staying in isolation because of the fear, and despite of the fact of being in isolation, and I know many such cases, trust me, and that they have been staying in isolation, they haven't had any interaction with the public at large, and they have got infected and they have succumbed to this infection. Now, this has happened parallel to people who have been interacting in the hospitals, and they are at the same time, there are people who have been interacting and have succumbed as well. So what was it all this about? Major thing that protected them was their immunity. That, like, and then this is how you're going to talk to yourself. So how do we recalibrate? Is we stop. You remember the phone? The phone was, when it is updating, it is put on a hold. So when it is updating, there is no function that it is entertaining. Nothing is working, it's only updating. So this is the time to update, where you put off everything and you just focus on these pointers. So it's all about my immunity, my individual immunity. So I don't need to be so afraid because I'm in charge. I know of more survivors than otherwise. If you look at the chart, yes, there are more survivors. The chart was just there before this. I have not spent any time on that. But yes, there is. I choose to strengthen my immunity. It's in my chart. So now I can work on this. It's just a phase and this will pass too. It's time to introspect. And this is the time where you've switched off from a lot of activities that you would otherwise. I am in charge of me. So if you read these words and absorb them, you will feel a sense of empowerment right away. I want you to do that. I'll pause for a second and I want you to read this and feel what it feels as it recalibrates you energy through your energy system. Okay. So this is another study that I was which really inspired me and is very empowering by itself. So there was a research that was done, which is called the energy research. We have some time. Okay.
Dr. Mubarak, you're doing awesome. Honestly, enjoying it. Every second of this workshop. It's amazing. Please go ahead. Bismillah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sister Nasim. It really means a lot. Okay, so this is another aspect of the virus that has been researched, and it makes things, it puts a lot of things into perspective, and it's actually very empowering again. So we are all energy. Everything, every living and in fact non-living thing every matter is energy, and we are all vibrating at a different frequency. And that frequency, if it is matched, it's like a match found. You know, when you put your finger and just say match found. Like if there is a previous memory of what you put in, it says match found. Now, when your frequency matches any other frequency, you receive and you can send. There is a two-way flow, energy flow that is initiated. There are a lot of examples. There is tuning for experiment also, which I don't have the time to share, but if you're interested, ask me. You can connect to me on WhatsApp as well, and I will share the videos with you, and you'll understand this concept much better when you see such informative videos. So now what happens is the frequency of corona was measured by scientists. This is the paper, peer research. All my research papers are peer research papers, which are absolutely authentic. So I've shared the link with you. You could go and check it from the American Journal of Laboratory of Medicine. So what they did is they found where is my the frequency of COVID is the frequency of COVID is below this. So anything after 7 hertz, yeah, where is it? Okay, yeah, 7 hertz is the frequency of COVID and low. So if you are vibrating at that frequency, you are now a vibrational match to COVID. Now, when are you vibrating at that frequency? There are lots of apparatus that can measure your frequencies. Your means human frequency. There is a the aura that we talk about is your energy and your frequency. So what happens is when you are in grief, your frequency is between 0.1 to 2 and so on and so forth, fear and all of that. Now, where do you cross the 7 mark is generosity, gratitude, heartfelt gratitude, when it is not because of something, but sense of unity with other people, when you feel all are one, we're just one, compassion, love and bright feeling, when love that generates for all people and all living things without exception, unconditional sacrifice and spiritual love is 205 and above. So if you are vibrating at these frequencies, you are not a match to. So this is another way you can have control over corona, and corona is not in COVID is not in charge of you. Now, I don't think we have the time for this. So now we'll go into the next important thing, how this was where your mind over matter ends, and we come into the physical aspect of your being. So what you find at the end of your fork is more powerful than anything you find at the bottom of a pill bottle. So here we are using food is medicine, and how we will strengthen your immune system by way of using food. So here we have these are the painkillers, which is not what we are focusing on, and I have an entire data. Yeah. So here we come to the nutritional part of the session. Your immunity boosters or immunity supporters are vitamin C. So vitamin C strengthens your white blood cells, the cells that are fighting against whatever foreign or whatever is going to compromise your health. So you need to load yourself with vitamin C. What are the but I will strongly resist you from and not encourage you to use synthetic vitamin C supplements. What is recommended is vitamin C in its natural form. So you're definitely aware of the fact that sour things are loaded with vitamin C. Amla, the Indian gooseberry, then we have lime. These are loaded with vitamin C. We also have a lot of other food things that is food. Even your berries have a lot of vitamin C along with the antioxidants. Vitamin D. Now this is where it gets a little complicated. So vitamin D is the sunlight vitamin, and this is not only a vitamin, it is an it strengthens your immune system. So it is called as an immunomodulator. It strengthens it also there are multiple functions that vitamin D does, but the catch here is vitamin D cannot be absorbed only by, when you absorb it by the sun, there's very little food that has vitamin D. It's only mushrooms and the yolks of egg. So, and sunlight is the primary source of vitamin D. But here there is a lot of conditions that apply, and that's the reason why I call it complicated, is because you need 8 square feet of skin to be exposed to the sun between 20 to 30 minutes, anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the color of your skin. So the dark colored skin need more exposure than the light colored skin. That is nature's way of helping helping you avoid toxicity. And because the rays of the sun are straight on the equator in the dark skinned people, so that they do not get a toxic supply of vitamin D. At the same time, in the given situation, we do not need to have a normal vitamin D levels. We need to have elevated vitamin D levels right up to 50 to 70 nano units in your body per liter. So why you need that is to fight against this virus attack that we are in now. How do you get this? So I would suggest supplementation. Just like I told you, no supplementation for vitamin C. Here is why. The reason being, there are major conditions. One is, even if you've taken the vitamin D on your skin, you need to allow that area not to be contaminated by any chemical. By chemical I mean no creams and no cosmetics, no soaps, for 48 hours, because it takes 48 hours, magnesium and a high dose of cholesterol to absorb it and take it into synthesize the vitamin D and take it into your system. That is one thing. Second is, there are vitamin in the sunlight. You have ultraviolet A, ultraviolet B, and ultraviolet C rays. The C rays are already do not reach us, while the ultraviolet A rays are responsible to neutralize the vitamin D on our skin by 50%, because just another mechanism to prevent us from excess vitamin D. It's only the ultraviolet B rays that would give us vitamin D. But this ultraviolet B rays cannot pass through the glass windows. So when they do not pass through the glass windows, even if you've taken pure sunlight and then you sit in your car, not washed it, all the ultraviolet A rays are going to neutralize the vitamin D that was there on your skin. So that's the reason why I said it's a little complicated. So I would sincerely, I would strongly suggest all of you to take supplements. Now, how much do you need? The normal dose is anywhere between 4,000 to 10,000 in a 400 to 1,000 in a day. But I would suggest upping the dose by another 100%, and I would suggest a 60,000 or 50,000 international units every week, given this condition, irrespective of where you are and what is the color of your skin. Then selenium. A lot of selenium is found in Brazil nuts, in till. What is still called? I just forget. So zinc, and okay, this is very important. Healthy fats. So why healthy fats is, the virus has to penetrate to the cell through the cell wall. Are we on schedule? Someone tell me. So I cannot see the time. I can only see my screen and nothing else. I'll just check the chat box. Sesame seeds. Thank you, Dr. Bilkis. Yes, but are we on time?
Yes, we still have 7 more minutes.
Okay, I think we're going fine.
Sure.
So healthy fats, the cell walls, each cell wall is made of a layer of fat. For the virus to penetrate to this through the cell wall, it needs a very weak cell wall to penetrate into the cell, because then it starts its replicating process and all the drama that it does. But if your cell wall is strong, it cannot penetrate to the cell wall, and it doesn't have a long life. It's not too patient also, what we are observing is, so then it just dies its own death. So if you're taking healthy fats, now what are the sources of healthy fats? I don't think you're going to get any brownie points, but let me tell you. Pure ghee, cod liver oil, olive oil, these are just the healthy fats, and coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of the best, and I think these are just a few, and they're good to go. They're enough for you. And then we go to the next herbal teas. So these are again strengthening your immune system, but this is not a medication. But this will protect you against any viral attack, even if you are with people who have been infected. That goes without saying that the mask is important, and sanitization is as important as well. So Giloy, ginger, these are all research. There are lots of them, but I have only picked the ones that are not going to impact you in the other comorbidities as well. And irrespective of what you are suffering from, these are going to help you. So Giloy, ginger, ashwagandha, turmeric, but you can't take just a teeny weeny bit. So when I say turmeric, people just put a pinch. That's not 1 tablespoon of turmeric. That is the quantity, because it needs to immunize your entire body. Not a pinch is not going to do it. Yeah, but the belief that that pinch is going to do might do it. So at the same time, can do what you feels right. Onion, okay. Onion is an antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. There's a lot of research on onion. So what I would recommend is not only have fresh onion, but also keep a slice of fresh onion in every room, irrespective of if you have someone who's suffering from COVID in his room, you must keep it, and keep it in the room as well. And then discard the onion slices that you've cut and then put a fresh one. So it absorbs the virus even in the air. There has been a lot of research on that, and I would love to share that with you. And if anyone's interested, connect to me personally. So onion taken in, freshly cut, never kept. So freshly cut onion, even half an onion is good. And I think it's there in our tip also. So, and as well as onion exposed outside. Olive leaf extract is another antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial. You get this on Amazon. Stress management, I can't overemphasize it. You've understood it. Adequate sound sleep detoxifies your entire system. Belly laughter, I spoke about normal cousins already, and I'm sure you understood that. Okay. Tibbe Razavi and Tibbe Nabavi. Okay. There are some others as well. However, they have contraindications, and that's the reason why I'm not sharing others. I have a list of it, but we will just stick to the ones that don't have any contraindications or any implications on other comorbidities as well. So hot and cold showers, there is an entire science on radical hydrotherapy. There's a book also on radical. I think Rubel has written that book on and how it strengthens your immune system. So even if you find hot and cold showers too much to do, you can just put your legs in hot water, just bearable hot water, and let your body be outside. And do this every day for 10 to 15 minutes, and you will again activate your immune system, and it's going to deal with whatever is there inside that it needs to deal with. That's another very effective way. There's a Jim Hof therapy also, where you do the extreme cold and extreme hot, but that's, if you can just do this much, this is going to do wonders and magic to your body. Managing your comorbidities, this is your if you have blood pressure, heart issues, and diabetes, your sugar levels, deal with them, because that is again going to compromise your immune system. Moderate workout. You know what? Whenever you do excessive workout, intense workout, your immunity drops. And when you're doing moderate workouts, your immunity increases. So avoid doing intense workout. Do we have, are we, someone breathing? Okay, breathing is another thing. Meditation. I think we need to put someone on mute. Okay. And gratitude. I've just told you what gratitude does. So writing a gratitude journal on a daily basis, making it a routine after your prayers to be grateful for whatever. I find it very, gratitude is a very vast topic, and it can never be overemphasized. It can never be exaggerated. Feeling grateful for the hair in your nostril is something that really surprised me when I came across. So have we considered that as a topic to be grateful for? When we have tea, being grateful for the cow the cow that gave the milk, the milkman that bought. So there's so many things that we can find. And then what are we doing is we're creating a parallel thought pattern, which is empowering And the other thought patterns which are disempowering by themselves, the toxic thoughts and the random thoughts, they by themselves, they will become a thing of the past. I think I'm done. Let me just check. Okay, this is not something. So how do we look at masking? Everyone's like, I'm guilty of not being very masking person, used to be. And I had all these complaints about masks. So just a quick way of re-looking mask. So you don't need to be facially groomed. You don't need to have your lipsticks on. The market for lipsticks have fallen dramatically. No, you can go with your beard and mustache and double sting and chin and all of that. It protects you from all infections, so you feel empowered. It gives you cleaner lungs. It's just a new accessory, like a tie and a bow and a scarf and a cap and a glass and a sunglass and a glove. So wear it with a style and wear it as a style statement. If you have to wear it, you might as well wear it like a style statement. It's just a matter of time and you'll get used to it, like we got used to our glasses. And yes, you do feel a psychological sense of being empowered. And similarly, you can look at the different things. So there are different ways in which I think we'll have to just be creative and look at these things in a different way, a new way, an empowering way of less stressful way and a fun way. Okay, these are the references, and yeah, we are ready to go. These are the references. You can print screen so that you could check them out, and we open this the platform for question and answers. Yes, so the pioneers of the future. Anyone has any questions? I think we don't have questions in the chat box, do we? Do we have any questions, Sister Nasim?
I think Sister Mubarak, it's been very intense. I think putting the emotional side of things and the nutrition. So subhanallah, I mean, I think you have managed it really well, but maybe just try and maybe give us a practical tip with reference to the remasking or a new way of looking at things. Maybe you talked about the wearing of lipstick, and what's the best way to look into myself, an empowered me, in terms of my emotional well-being and looking into my nutrition. Would it be possible for you to just give us maybe a little bit of an insight?
Definitely. So when we talk of empowerment, empowerment comes from the understanding that I am in charge. So when I choose to do things, that means I am in charge of my well-being. So when I am in charge, how will I be? Let's look at this. So how do I look at all of these? The first thing is Corona. So how can I relook at this virus? So one is, there have been so many epidemics earlier. There have been so many pandemics earlier. The Spanish flu was there for one. So we navigated through that. And here, this is time for us to understand that how the divine decree is so overwhelming. 1 minute, there's something in the chat box. Okay. So one is, there is this, the divine is definitely the master, and we are the ones who are going to take whatever he has to give, and we need to understand that it is in our best interest. Nothing is happening to destroy us. Nothing is happening as a punishment. It is happening to empower us, to enlighten us, to help us grow. It is just meant for us to grow, either spiritually, physically, emotionally, in any which ways. So our creator is a loving creator. When he's allowed this to happen, he has created this, is another way to look at it. Even definitely he's the one who creates it, but he's allowed it to happen. If you look at it if it is implanted also, he has allowed it to be implanted, and he's allowed it to happen. So there is definitely a divine reason why it is there. So what can I do about it? Can I fight with the divine? No, I can't. So what do? I accept that there is something that I have to grow by going through this. So Corona is a blessing, is a reason for my growth. Just like when a seed is put into the ground, the seed goes into darkness. Then this seed that goes into darkness, it splits, it tears, it gets destroyed, it changes, and then emerges from it a new plant, which goes first inside. So the root, first it's the root, then the shoot. So this looks like a challenge. This looks like a disaster. This looks like something that's but it's only after breaking of the old that the new will emerge. It's only after just like the caterpillar and the butterfly. Are you aware that the DNA of the caterpillar and the DNA of the butterfly is different? It's completely different. So it has changed and evolved. But the process is a difficult process. It's a struggle. When it is breaking free from the cocoon that is created around itself and it's grown and it's ready to emerge, the transition is painful. It is physically painful, it is a struggle. So this is just a process where we are evolving from level 1 to level 2. It's just like the examination that we say that, okay, no one likes examination, but if you tell a 10th standard student not to write an exam, he will detest, he will say, no, I want to write the exam. Why does he want to do something that he doesn't like? Because that is going to validate what he knows and is going to be responsible for his promotion, for him to be elevated to the next level. So at the face of it, it looks like a challenge. It looks like something disturbing, distressing, but it is actually a platform from which you're going to emerge into the next level. You're ready for it. We are all ready for it. And there is definitely a spiritual elevation, emotional elevation, physical elevation that's waiting. The next level we are ready for. The entire globe is ready for. Then let's look at, I hope Sister Nasim, this explains the concept of Corona to some extent.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love the butterfly and the caterpillar, the example, and it's so profound. It's so profound. Yes.
That's my favorite too. So then lockdown. So what are the benefits of the lockdown? We get so much of time to introspect. We always we seek time to connect, to spiritually elevate, to spend time with ourselves. This time we are thrown into ourselves and we have no other way but to look into ourselves. So when we talk about lockdown, there is time to connect with the loved ones, with people who mean a lot to us. This is the time to venture into to projects that we've not done, upgrade ourselves educationally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So there are so many ways that we can use this lockdown as a boon and not a bane. Then this is social distance, but this is something that we've always been taught. The Eastern way of life is always been maintaining our distance from one another so that our energies are intact and not diluted and not and then we never have the hugging and the shaking of hands in our culture. So it is so us, it's so back to where we are. Then we have in fact we are taught sanitizing. So in the earlier when we are in the earlier classes, we're taught to wash our hands each time we enter the house. These are things that are taught in our EVS, environmental science, to children, and then we think now it's looking like something new, but it's not. Washing our hands frequently, sanitizing, but never sanitize and eat with the sanitizer on, because that's toxic to take inside. So it is meant for sanitizing the hands, but then again you need to wash and eat anything. And what else was there? Mask I have already shared. So these were few things. Anything else, Sister Nasim? Have I addressed what you had hit upon?
Yes, absolutely. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. I think Dr. Bilkis has asked for your contact, so can I share your contact with Dr. Bilkis?
It's here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all of you. Thank you, Sister
Thank
Nasim.
you very much. Thank you very much for this profound discussion, and inshallah we will have more of these discussions pertinent questions that we all have. And I think it's important to look after our emotional well-being, as you've explained. Thank you very much.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mubaraka, for imparting some knowledge to us. We really benefited from this talk, and inshallah, we'll be able to put it to practice in our normal lives, inshallah. And please do give us your feedback. And thank you once again all for joining. Now I'd like to call on Sister Nasim to close the program with a prayer. Wassalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Can we all recite one Surah Al-Fatiha for all our marhumin and 3 salawat upon Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم منا جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، الأمان الأمان من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أحسنت.